looks pretty good at the moment. Don't worry about that sign on the right, says two-way traffic, believe it or not, Ripley. Makes things a bit more interesting for us. Alright, so our wheels are running on the world's third largest sandcastle. She's about 38 kilometres long and it runs south to north, follows the ocean currents, gives you a big clue how the island was formed. Now the widest part is up towards the north, nearly 10 kilometres across. It gets thinner as it heads south. It's kind of in the shape of a choice loin lamb chop. This is number 3 sandcastle. Number 2 we also have 4 kilometres south of this island, this way. North Stradbroke. These two are known as sister islands. They're nearly identical. They're about the same length. Stradbroke's known as the older sister because she's about a kilometre wider. Number 1 we also have, we liken him to the older brother. He likes to keep his distance from the sisters, 300 odd k's north. That would be Gari, Fraser Island. He's over 3 times longer than the sisters. He's a monster. And we also got number 4, Bribey Island, across the bay from Tangalooma. Got the whole podium covered with sand islands. In fact, if you look on the world atlases and maps of the coast of Queensland, you should see it written there, Great Sandy Region. Greatest area of sand islands in the world. So, how do you make a sand island? Well, there's only one great architect, the master, we call her Mother Nature, Mama, Yaya. To believe most of these sands have come from the main continent of Australia. I reckon we're actually travelling on ancient New South Wales sand. It tells you most of it's come from the main continent, and Mother Nature has used her weapons. The wind, the rain washed the sands off the mountains and the hills into the rivers. The rivers have carried them out to the ocean, and there's a current that comes up the east coast. They call it the Great North Shore Drift. Carried the sands up. Before we go on, anybody like a nice long bush walk? Here's the start of the Rouse Battery walking track on the left here. See the grade moderate? Take notice of the kilometres. 10. That's one way, another 10 back. It's 20. Plus a K and a half back to the resort. 23 Ks all up. Good day's outing. And the word batteries relating to gun batteries. There used to be 2 big guns over on the other side there, the Rouse Battery area. They're gone, but the bunkers below ground and above, concrete ones, are still there. A lot of it in good condition, or good nick. Okay, now I've just got to reset the bus. We have arrived at what we call Death Valley. Alright, number 1, extra turbo. On. Number 2, engage parachute. On. Gear levers got to go to VF or very fast. Okay, so we're going down, get the speed up a ramp, jump over a cliff, come down the other side. That's why we need the parachute. Alright, let's see how we go. Everything's looking good. Alright, you ready, Betsy? Yeah. Alright, let's do Death Valley. Come on, gotta go a bit faster, Betsy. A bit faster. A bit faster, Betsy. What's happened to the bus ramp? Somebody's taken it down. Spoil sports. I know some of the kids are saying these days, "Can't have any fun anymore." That's not quite true. Get out in the desert, plenty of fun. Alright, we haven't got far to go now. I've actually just graded the road this morning. Smoothest the track's been for 19 years. We're a bit unlucky. Hardly a bump or a roll. Good for some. Alright, we have arrived at the giant sandpit. Some people call it a desert. We've got a chain in front of us here, so our head of security, let me introduce you to the gentleman on the left. This is Dylan. He's also your paparazzi, okay, photographer. He'll be taking your photo around the dune area. No obligation to buy the photos. I'll tell you more about them later. Go. So Dylan's going to open the chain so we can drive in and then lock it up behind us. So the chain's there to keep the hoons out. It's a good Aussie word, H-O-O-N. What's a hoon? I think most of us have grown out of the hoon stage. So, just the hoons who have cars, see? They can't drive in there and do silly things. So they've got to park out on the left and walk in now. Lucky for us, we get to drive at this stage. Okay, sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards, apparently. Alright. We'll just wait for Dylan, not the Bob, to hop back on the bus. Thank you, Mr. Paparazzi. Alright, let's have a closer look at the dessert. It is amazing this big area opens up out of the bush. Segoi. Now we're driving to the opposite side of this dune. That's where we do our sliding, hopefully. All depends on what that grey stuff over the left is doing. Alright, now to get you ready, just in case, please take off your wheels. It's a lot easier. You don't have to, but we recommend walking on the sand or in the sand with your wheels off. Easier in bare feet. Okay, park your wheels, shoes under your seats. Going back on the same bus. Now be very careful with your dog and bones, mobile phones. A few missed balls laying under the sand over here. Don't let that be you. You can take it with you. Just make sure they're still in your skyrockets before you hop back on the bus. And no need to bring any large bags off. Leave them on the bus. There's no baggage service on top of the dune especially. What you take up, you got to bring back down with you. Don't need to take water bottles. We got water under the bus here for you and the cups in the bin. Finally. Mother humper. Now we're going to have a safety briefing right next to the bus here, okay? So don't go running away like crazy wild chickens towards the dune. I'll show you how to use our equipment. And then we'll head on up. hopefully. We're just going to wait to see what this rain cloud's doing here. Looks like it's about to hit us. So we might even just sit on the bus for a second. No use getting out there getting wet right now. So let's go observe what's happening.